everybody, it's me, Greg, again, and welcome back to the Free American Spirit channel. Today, we're going to head out to the shop here, and I want to talk to you about drain jetters and pressure washing equipment. This is some of the equipment that I use every day, and what I'm going to point out to you is just some of the options that are available to you and some of the safety features that we've incorporated into the equipment. This is by no means a full-blown video on all of the options and equipment, but it'll give you an idea on different sizes of machines and equipment available and safety features that you may want to use, in your own company, or if you're just starting out, it'll help you make some decisions on what equipment you want to buy. So hey, let's head into the shop over here and see what we got going on. Hi guys, here we are in the shop, and I'm going to go through a couple of these machines real quick for you. So keep in mind, most of my machines are for residential use and light commercial use, meaning, I do some restaurants, drain cleaning and surface cleaning for pressure washing and things like that. So the next machine we're going to look at will be a little bit bigger. But let's start off with the smaller machine. This machine actually has a little bit more pressure than the other machine. This is a 4,000 PSI machine, and it's running at 4 gallons a minute. They make these at 4,500 PSI. They make them at 5 gallons a minute. They make them a little bit less, but this is what I settled on because it fits my needs. And I just want to mention here, guys, if you think you're going to go to Home Depot and buy a homeowner type pressure washer and go run around and clean drains, for 50 bucks or 75 bucks, or go do house wash for $100, 125, I can tell you right now, your pressure washer is going to fail. You're going to get bad service to your customers. They're not going to like it. And basically at 100 bucks a job or 125 a job, you might as well just, go out of business now because you can't pay for all the insurance and everything else. Sad but true. But let's get back to the features of this machine. This machine, like I said, is built for the professional. The first thing you'll notice is that the engine over here is not connected directly to the water pump. Okay, it's connected by that belt system. That's a covering to keep your fingers and stuff out of the belts, but there's a pulley system that drives that pump from the motor. So that reduces heat. Pressure washers don't like heat. Any way you can keep the heat off of that water pump, that high pressure water pump, the better. So that's the first thing. The second thing you'll notice is this cart. This cart is an aluminum cart. It has nice wheels for tundra. It also has rubber feet down there, so when you're pulling this thing around, you can set it down and it's not going to move, and that cart's going to take up some of the vibration. It does have a Honda engine, so it runs a little quieter than most. Okay, this engine does have a gas tank mounted on top, which means it's gravity fed. Being gravity fed means you have no pump. It also means that if you forget to turn off this little switch right here, this slide lever, which is the gas on and off, when you're traveling, that means gas is going to go through your carburetor into your crankcase, and you might as well get spanked with barbed wire because you're going to pay the price for that. It could really do some damage. So make sure you turn off that lever. Once you have everything filled up, you turn the switch on, and then you adjust the choke here, and then you adjust the throttle here. You fire it up. After it's warming up a little bit, you turn the choke off, put the throttle all the way, and you're good to go. From the factory, it comes with a pop-off valve or a pressure reducing valve, which we're going to talk to a little bit more when we get here. And it comes with a standard hose connection down here. The rest of this I added. Now I just want to say something. If you're looking at hose connection, this was designed to be hooked right up to a garden hose. It has a little screen in there, and a lot of people say just take that screen and pop it off. The problem I found with that is there's a lot of houses and stuff that will have inferior clamps or fittings or whatnot. They may be steel, and that's kind of my last little stop gate to catch little rust particles. Okay, in addition to heat, okay, the pump doesn't like heat, the pump doesn't like starving itself for water, and the pump doesn't like trash. So I leave that there, but just make sure that every season you replace that. But better yet, do what I do and grab you a male piece of garden hose fitting into the 3/4 inch line, into the nice filter, into the ball valve, and then with a female hose, and then that way you can take your hose from the house, connect it right there, and that part, the male will always be screwed in to there, and that's just a big layer of protection. Now on mine, there's an extra hose here because basically this hardly ever leaves this position. When I take my hose, I pull it out of this trailer, I run it down the ramp, and I connect those two hoses, which I'll explain in a little bit, and it basically sits here. But it's a nice option. I can always now take this and move it somewhere if I don't have enough hose, to get to a particular, part of a property. So most people will take and hook their pressure washers to a buffer tank. The buffer tank really helps out a lot, okay? And what's happening is now the garden hose from the house is going to that buffer tank, and then the line, and in my case, that line there, it's coming from the buffer tank to the pressure cleaner. Okay, the reason you want a buffer tank is if you're out in the field and you're at a farmhouse, some of those farmhouses only have 2-gallon-a-minute pumps. And like I told you, pressure washer pumps don't like to be starved for water. Or you could be, at an older house that has galvanized pipes and it's only letting through 2 to 3 gallons of water. So what happens is if you have a buffer tank, you fill that puppy up with 65 gallons. Then when you crank up your pressure washer, let's just say you're using 2 gallons a minute, it's robbing the other 2 gallons a minute from that tank. Okay, and you just kind of keep an eye on it, and every 15 minutes or so, or 20 minutes, or however long it takes for that tank to deplete, when you see that tank's getting down low, you just stop. The tank will fill back up, have a cigarette break or whatever it is you do on break, and then you continue back on. So we're going to move to this other machine, and I'm going to tell you what all these different fittings and stuff are. So here we are back at the other side of the tank. This is where the water goes to the pressure washer itself. This is a 3-way valve. So basically, if I have the valve in this position, it's going up this line to the pressure washer. If I have the valve in that position, then it's closing the tank off in case if a line breaks or something like that, and I don't want water all over. If I spin this all the way around, then it's coming out here, and I can fill up a bucket of water when I need to. I have the same type set up inside the trailer on the other pressure washer. Once we get past that, once again, we're into a filter. On that other one I showed you, the filter's smaller. This one's just mounted right at the pressure washer. I can get the filter off easily. It's very accessible. On the top of this machine, just like the other one, these are the other two hoses. This is green hose and black hose. And the reason is, let's just take a look at this real good. If you look at that pop-off valve or pressure relief valve, it's now a 3-way valve. It's actually a 4-way valve, one's blocked off. But this is the normal high pressure side. When the valve pops off, just like the other one that I showed you, the high pressure goes right back to the tank. But if you look at this black hose coming off of here, that also goes to the tank. And what that's for is normally this is just hooked right into the high pressure side. And what happens is people will use that to recirculate a little bit of water with the incoming fresh cool water to keep the pump cool. I just made it go all the way to the tank, so once again, I don't have to worry about it. But you can't have it just full blast going to the tank all the time, so we have this valve right here. So to protect the pump, I got to pop off, but now I've got this valve, and what that's for is when I want to dial this valve down, when I first open this valve all the way up, then I start my machine up. This takes all the stress off of the pump. There's no pressure. It's going into the tank. So as the engine warms up, like you should let it warm up, and then the pump is warming up, I can then slowly dial this down and get it to the pressure I want. This particular unit will go up to 3,200 pounds. So that's why I put this extra gauge in here. I can watch it exactly. If I'm doing something out in the field and I don't want the whole 3,200 pounds, I can back this off a little and get it down to 1,000 pounds, like maybe doing a roof, or 500 pounds or 200 pounds or whatever. And I don't use all that pressure, and it's taking a lot of stress off of my pump once again, starting it and stopping it. When I stop the machine, I'll open that valve and there's no pressure. You don't get a hard stop. So those are some things that I added. Also on here, you have the standard. This is an emergency or a secondary pop off. If this valve was to fail for some reason, this would pop off for you. Pressure washer people normally don't care about this, but this valve right here, this is a pulse valve. If I'm doing pressure washing and I'm having the head of my jetter nozzles having hard time getting around some bends or whatnot, I can activate that and it makes the thing shake like that. The cutter head and the hose, it just shakes and it helps you get around some tight bends. That gas tank over there, that's a large gas tank. This unit actually has a gas pump and a filter on it. The other machine has a filter, but it's a gravity fed. This has a gas pump. So I don't have to worry about turning the gas on and off because no gas is going to seep up and leak into the engine like the other one does. It also has that environmentally safe whatever, so we don't smell the fumes. This particular engine right here is also a gas engine. Just like the other one, it has a throttle, it has a choke. So throttle up and down for faster, choke. Instead of having a hand crank, you still have to turn this key, but it's an electric start. Okay. On that other machine that I was showing you, it had the cover. This is what it looks like inside the cover. I got it opened up, so obviously that's for safety. You don't want some kids to, stick their hands in there or something like that, or your helper. So that's why they have covers. Once again, like the other machine, this is a machine that's belt driven. It's not connected to the engine. It's keeping that pump cooler because we like to keep our pump happy. We don't want any dirt coming in it. We don't want any hard starts. We don't want any hard shutoffs. We don't want any high pressures that aren't supposed to be where they're not supposed to be. Once again, just like the other machine, you have a nice fill tab here for your oil. There's a sight glass over on this side. Easy to change your oil here. On the engine, the oil filter is very easy to get to, easy to change your oil there, easy to check your oil here, easy to fill your oil here. The battery, all my batteries are in a case that keeps it out of the elements. This one is actually getting charged while the machine is running because it has electric starter and little thing, but the other ones don't. But I still have, if you look down there, that little cable, I still have that plugged in so I can put a battery tender on it. So every couple of days I'll just put the battery tender on it, or especially in the winter time, I'll just leave the battery tender plugged in. All my batteries, I put those on. It's well worth the little bit of effort. So that's the machine here. I hope that you liked this little instruction video on different size machines, and basically you're weighing power and water. The more power you have, you can cut through thicker things like roots or grease, but you don't have to get carried away with it. 3,000 pounds to 4,500 pounds is way more than I'll ever need. And then the volume, gallons per minute, that's really so that your job is getting quicker. You're putting more water out, flushing more stuff away, moving material faster. So for example, this machine over here, it has 4,500 pounds of pressure. It's great for cutting through roots with my Warthog and things like that, and getting through some tough blockages on small lines. And it's great for grease lines, except if I was in a restaurant and I had a 4-inch grease line, main line, and I'm trying to get all that grease out, or I'm over at my little car wash at my buddy's place over here and I'm trying to get all the sand out of that 6-inch line, it's going to take me a long time. It'll do it, but I'll be there a long, long time. With this machine, I have less pressure, so I may not cut as big of a route, but I will still be able to get through those lines faster because it's going to put a lot more water through it in volume. So, with this machine, I would do the same line in probably a third of the time, or with this rig, but actually there's other reasons like the reels and things like that, but that's another video and a thing to do. So, hey guys, look, I hope you enjoy these videos. I hope when you're starting your plumbing company or your drain cleaning company rather, or your pressure washing company, this answers some questions on what to look for. I'll do other videos about reels and accessories and options. Don't forget, if you have comments and you want to ask me questions or suggest a video I do, put them down in the comments section. That's that section way down there. I may not be able to answer all your questions or do the video real quick, but I try to get around to them. But other members can. They can answer your questions if I can't. The other thing you'll see down there is a little box called descriptions, and it'll have a little arrow to make it pop open. That tells people what this video is about, but more importantly, if I have links like to where to buy this equipment, you can just click on those links and possibly go right to my Amazon store and buy some equipment, or go to the manufacturers or wherever the links are to. And that brings me up to helping my channel out. Guys, if you like my channel, hit the subscribe button down there. Leave the notes, share the channel, like the channel. Those are all great. And if you really, really, really want to be nice, and help me with the cost of video productions and cameras and all that, you could always hit the little donate button. But we don't care if you donate or not. We just want to make sure that you're getting the information and that you make wise decisions when you buy your equipment, so that you'll be using, your money wisely and being able to get jobs done quickly and efficiently. So everybody, till the next time, we will catch you later. Bye.